Good afternoon. My name is Steve Pintarelli. I'm the publisher of Beverage Industry Magazine, and I have the pleasure of being here with Chef Wolfgang Puck today, owner of some of the famous restaurants such as Spago and Cut and many others. And we're going to chat a little bit about Wolfgang's launch of his new wines, Puck Wines. You're sourcing the grapes and the other ingredients, and what type of barrels or casks are they aged in?
Well, some of them, like the Sauvignon Blanc, we just don't age it in wood. It has no wood. It's only barrel fermented stainless steel, total stainless steel. And the other one, the red wines, are part in new oak and part in already used oak.
Okay.
And the Chardonnay has a little bit of new oak too, but very light because I didn't want to have an over oaked Chardonnay.
What sets these wines apart from others on the market?
Well, there are many different wines and customers have many different choices. I really feel, just like our restaurants, what sets our restaurants apart from the other ones? We are in business for 33 years now. Spago opened 33 years ago, Chinois 32 years ago, and we are still going very strong. So to me, it's really when you go to a restaurant, obviously you need great service. Have a host or hostess who is very polite and nice to you, recognizes your name, and then the food has to be good. And the quality and price have to match. And we are not trying to make the cheapest wine. We are not trying to make the most expensive either, but we try to give people really a great quality for the price. And that's what we do in our restaurants too. We try to give people quality, and it's always about the quality, not about the quantity. And the same thing I did with the wines. I said, it's maybe easier to make a wine for $300 a bottle, because you can get the most expensive grapes and have the best winemaker or whatever, and then it's so expensive. But how often are you going to open a bottle which costs you $300? Most of them people have them in the cellar and just show it off to their friends and say, look, I have a bottle of Lafite, or I have a bottle of Aubryon, or any of this, or a bottle of Colgan or Harlan, whatever, and then they don't open it up for dinner. Mm-hmm. My wine is to be drunk with food, hopefully, because that's the way I like it. It's not a wine where you have to show it off to your friends and says, oh, maybe I open it for a special occasion in 3 years from now. I want people to enjoy the wine now. That's the way I am. Even with my expensive wines in the cellar, I just drink them all.
So to enjoy it for everyday occasions as well as special occasions.
I drink wine every day for dinner. When I have dinner with my family, and that's one of the nice things, I think, is getting together with the family, sit around. I have 2 younger sons and 2 older ones. So my 2 older ones taste the wines, and the younger ones are too young for that. But my wife and myself always drink a glass or 2 of wine with dinner. I think it's a ritual. I grew up in a fashion like that where I saw it happen, and I think to me, wine is just like food. It makes you feel good. It nourishes your soul.
You touched on this a little bit, but maybe we can expound on it a bit further. What are some food pairings that this line of wines will complement very well?
Well, let's start with the white wines. For example, the Sauvignon Blanc is perfect for a light summer dish. If you want to have a grilled salmon with some different salad greens underneath and maybe like a ranch dressing or a herb dressing with it, I think the Sauvignon is it's light, but it has good flavor, and it goes very well with dishes like that. And often I drink it as an aperitif. I add a little bit of raspberry puree or a little bit of elderberry syrup, just a little bit to give it an extra flavor. And people say, wow, what is that? This is really interesting. So I like to play around. So this is a base, but I also play with it at home. Now the Chardonnay, we use it mostly in our restaurants. We use it for the Academy Awards. We use it for big important parties, for the Emmys and so on. So we use that all the time because people are so used to drinking Chardonnay. That's really the most popular white wine. And I like it especially with the richer seafood. For example, if you make a lobster with butter and everything on it, the Chardonnay will go perfectly with it. Mm-hmm. If you eat a lobster with asparagus, I would drink the Sauvignon Blanc because the greenness and the herbishness goes well with Sauvignon Blanc. If you have, for example, a roasted chicken with some potatoes and maybe some carrots or whatever in it, very simple, I think the Chardonnay will do very well, or simply roasted pork loin.
Okay.
So you don't have to think always white wine for fish and red wine for meat. No, I drink probably more red wine than white wine throughout the year, but I think I interchange it often, you know, I don't just have a sip. I said, oh, it's interesting that to pair them. So I think you have a bite of your food and then you have a little sip of the wine and say, wow, you know, one is good, the other one is good, the wine is good, the food is good, but both together make it even more so. So, and I think that's what I'm looking for, you know, to get to a higher level. And I think the red wine is obvious. We sell our Cabernet all over the world, really. It's interesting, like from London to Dubai to Singapore. We sell our Cabernet like crazy. It has become so popular that people actually come back to the restaurant and ask for it all the time. Now, I must say, London we have a steakhouse, in Dubai we have a steakhouse, and in Singapore we have a steakhouse. So Cabernet is the obvious choice for people when they eat red meat. But I chill it a little bit. I don't like it when it's too warm, so I cool it down a little bit in the summertime, and I have it with a simple grilled chicken, or we have it a grilled salmon or things like that too. So I have a little red wine with it, but I chill it a little bit. So whereas for a steak, I keep it at room temperature. And
So
I think
poultry, meat, or fish, really.
poultry, meat or fish, yeah. I think this goes really well. Like if I have a roasted chicken, which is very simple to do, I put some sweet potatoes, maybe some garlic cloves, some onions, and roast everything together. Maybe a little rosemary in it, and some black pepper. The Cabernet goes then fantastic with it. So it's really a very everyday wine, and I think the price is good, so you don't have to worry, oh my God, now I'm gonna have to mortgage my house to have a good glass of red wine.
Right.
And I think the red blend here is an interesting experience because it has a little bit more fruit and a little bit more pepper because of the Zinfandel, and so I think it goes really well too. It's a different style, a different flavor, but I think it goes really well also. Like for example, often we cook venison in the restaurants, in all of our restaurants in the wintertime. So I saw this like with a cranberry marmalade with it, or a chutney with it, it goes really well. Or for Thanksgiving, you know, if you make a red wine sauce, like when I make Thanksgiving dinner for my turkey, I deglaze my pan with some of this red wine, reduce it, add a little butter, a little bit of cranberry puree or chutney into it, or a few blackberries if I have some, and then it gives it this fruity flavor, which is really delicious with this wine.
Very nice. So now, where will the wines be available, and when can we expect to see them on retail shelves?
Well, I think it will be available in a lot of retail stores if it's Publix in Florida or on the East Coast or out here, or maybe Sam's or maybe Costco. It really depends. We're going to try to have it in all the good stores, really. You know, if it's maybe Gelson's, if here in California, or Wegmans up in the Northeast, or Harris Teeter in the Southeast. So all the better stores for sure, but also regular supermarket, because the wines are priced that they could be sold basically everywhere. And people get the insurance of quality, because I wouldn't sell it if I wouldn't serve it at Spargo or at Cut or in any of our restaurants. So we have very high-end restaurant, and we do very well with this wine.
Okay. So you're going to go national right out
We
of the
hope
gate.
to go national, and one of the reasons also we did that with Larry Rubo together, because Larry Rubo's father had Alzheimer's and my mother has Alzheimer's. So
Oh, I was going to ask you about that.
yeah, so for every bottle we sell, part of it goes to Alzheimer's research and all, take care of people who have it, take care of the family. So for me, that was really an important part. I said, you know, I was lucky coming to America, being successful in the restaurant industry, and now being successful with our wine. We always try to give something back. So when people enjoy the wine, they can also think, you know, or cheers and say, God, part of it goes to Alzheimer's or any brain health, any disease like Parkinson and so forth, because I think so many people are affected by it. And we have, like my mother and many other people I know who have that disease. So hopefully we find a cure. So we drink to good health, but the money is used also for something good for the people.
And I can relate to this because my mom battled that as well.
Yeah.
Towards the latter years.
Yeah, I mean, so many people have it. I remember Charlton Heston, you know, one of the big guys, big movie star and everything. He used to come to the restaurant. At the end, he used to sit there, and I used to go over and say, hi, how are you? Good to see you. I used to play tennis with him. And he just looked at me. and totally didn't know where he was.
Wow.
So when you see people like that who were healthy and you thought he's like Arnold Schwarzenegger, with muscles and everything, and all of a sudden they end up like that. So I think it's our duty to give something back.
Very nice.